Okay, well, looking for something totally unrelated in my bits box, I just found this guy, and I do not remember where he came from. I'm assuming some junk lot off eBay. I don't even know how I've had him. Not long though. I said I don't recall ever buying him. He's just appeared in my collection. He's just a cool little sweet model. At this point, I don't even know where he's from, but I'm going to strip him down, give him a full refurb, and maybe you'll see the light of day in some Rangers of Shadow Deep or Frostgrave or something.
Gruffy Crow.
Alright, so this is a plastic mini. As I said, I still haven't looked into where he could be from. Probably just post it on my Discord, someone will know. But because he's plastic, I can't use my normal acetone-free nail varnish remover, my ethyl acetate that I would normally use on metal, because he would just melt into a little pile of gunk. So I'm just going to stick him in this old takeaway sauce tub and give him his own little bath in some isopropyl alcohol. This is one of my go-tos for stripping plastic now. One, because it doesn't smell too bad. It certainly doesn't smell as bad as meths. And two, because I have it on hand for cleaning my 3D prints. So I buy like 5 litres at a time. So yeah, it's nice and handy. So I'm just going to stick him in there. And I've got no worries really about leaving him in there sort of for a couple of days. Alright, he's been in the alcohol, I don't know, an hour or so maybe now. And this isn't all just sort of swelling up and peeling off like it would sometimes. But I did just put my file on it a little bit. If you can see there, this was the solid silver. And without any sort of resistance, I'm not actually scraping the file, I'm just dragging it across the surface. It is pulling the paint off. Not so much up there, but I think there was some sort of glossy blood effect used up there, which will take a bit of a while to seal too. But I think there was a glossy blood effect used up here that will take a little while to dissolve, I think. That blue doesn't really seem to want to go anywhere just yet. Oh, I don't know. It's definitely coming though. So let's not be impatient. Like I said, let's leave it in there a day or so. Okay, so this has been in here a day or so. And it's time to see what state he's in. See the alcohol's slightly off coloured. It's probably a good sign. Got a newish toothbrush here. Like I suspected yesterday, silver paint's coming off quite easy, but the blue is being a bit more stubborn. But the silver was what was kind of chunky and obscuring details, whereas the blue wasn't as bad. But it is all coming off with a little bit of work. And we've got 0 damage to the model from the alcohol, or from this brushing, so I'm not worried about brushing a bit extra. Going to take my scalpel as well. Oh, broken the blade, didn't realise I'd done that, or I'd forgotten I'd done that. Just going to use that in each of these gaps just to loosen this out a little bit. Just gentle, because I don't want to do any damage. Also, since he started his little bath, I went and looked into where he was from. I say looked into, I just asked my Discord and was answered almost straight away that he is in fact from Battlemasters, which makes a lot of sense because I bought a bunch of Battlemasters models not that long back in order to get some Chaos Archers that you can see me paint on my channel. So I imagine he came with that little lot. There might even be a couple more kicking around in the bits box, but one's all I want for now. Well, maybe 2, but you'll see in a second. Okay, next up we're going to give him a base, and if you've seen my videos before you could probably guess it's going to be one of these super modern sort of round lit bases. Well, I've just noticed my finger's gone kind of metallic blue as a mixture of those two paints. He's got a little slot, so I'll just pop him in there. I might let him clean him up a little bit more on these legs. He's almost ready. I think on this sort of super modern base he's going to look really cool. I think it's going to elevate him a bit. I'm also going to have to spend some time, like it was never cleaned up especially well, so there's a sprue connection there. And there's a little bit of work I think I can do at the top of this shield with the mould line and stuff. And the chainmail's cleaned up really well. It's really highly detailed. I'm quite impressed with that actually. I said, considering the age and the origin, basically a board game miniature. Okay, so here's the original guy all based up. He's looking pretty cool. I said I always love the look that these round lip bases give to sort of retro models. I've also gone and printed this guy off. So I'm aware that there's scans now of pretty much all the old HeroQuest, Battlemasters and similar models out there. I've done a few other prints of these kind of models for my enjoyment before. I need to finish painting this guy. So this is a print as well. But I've never really had a chance to have the original and the print side by side like this to try and compare them. Obviously at the moment they look very different because this one's orange. Because that's the resin I'm using at the moment. Orange tank and everything. But if we look under here, it's actually amazing some of the details, how it's captured it. So there's even this little sort of line joining the shield and the thing that's just a limit of the casting. It's all been captured quite well. So the next stage is going to be to throw a undercoat on these guys and then we'll have a look again and see if we can, how easily we can tell the difference. Okay, and here they are undercoated. I can tell the difference. Can you tell which one is the imposter? Can you tell?
Quick, quick, quick! Betting over!
It is this one. As you can see, the details are a little bit more shallow. You can see around the face and the chainmail there. They're just a little bit more shallow and blobby on this one. But they are very close. And having had a few Battlemasters miniatures now, the variation between casts of the same model, I've seen, of genuine ones, I've seen more than that. Just double checking, yeah, that's the one with the tab, so that's the original. So yeah, if you ever wanted to use one of those scan files to sort of replace an old bit out of HeroQuest, or pump up your Battlemasters army, I think once they're painted, you'll very unlikely be able to tell the difference at all. So let's get some paint on this lad then. I'm going to go pretty straightforward here, I think. Pretty much going to do the whole guy in a sort of plate metal colour. Slightly darker chainmail. Highlight all that up. Similar sort of metal colours for the weapon. And then I'll do his headband in red, feather in yellow, and a red and yellow cross sort of hatched shield, I reckon. Oh, he is wearing a little... Now, how does that make sense, guys? This appears to be a tunic at the back. But when you look at the front, it looks like a breastplate. Oh, and there's ribbons on the shoulders and stuff. Okay, this mini's more complex than I initially thought. And we've even got little straps behind the knees here. And a belt. Okay, let's just start painting and see how it ends up. I'm not going to spend ages on his skin tones because he's only literally on his face here. So this is Kislev Flesh. Once that's dry, I'll do the flesh shade. And then I'll just highlight back up with this. I think that should give me a pretty good flesh tone. Okay, so after the base colour, I threw a black wash on, and then currently I'm highlighting up with this bright silver. And I'm pretty happy with these guys come out. That looks like nice, well cared for, shiny armour without being too shiny all over. I've mostly just done this with like sort of line highlights, but on little bits and pieces I've kind of just either sort of dabbed it in a little bit like that, so we just get that little bit of highlight without too much, or just drag the brush across in the case of some of these bits of chainmail. This is a really high contrast silver, so that's all you need, just a little dab. Next up I'm going to take some of this bootstrap leather, and I think I'm going to do the boots and the belts. I think that's it. Oh, and the straps holding the sort of armour together on the legs. Just get that in there like that. Actually, what might be a really good idea before I finish painting these boots up will be to blast around with some of this super watered down Rhinox hide that I have. Literally for just doing bases like this. And that'll take a little bit of time to dry, but it's the easiest way to do bases, I think, because it gets into all the little bits of the sand. Okay, so I highlighted back up the skin with Kislev, and we did some browns. So light brown on the spear hafts and the leather on the things, and some couple of earth tones there. Gonna finish off the bases with a little tickle of this sort of ivory colour. Now it's time for some bright red and yellow, I think. I'm going to go for the same half and half design as I've got on my guards. So I wasn't quite sure, because I see that definitely looks like a breastplate, but this is definitely like a little skirt section. So yeah, we'll just go straight down the back there. And that'll be the half. And then we'll do the other, and we'll do half the shield as well. So I'll draw a line to start with, roughly that side of the shield. I'm also going to do the bandana thing around his head. And then the feather and the other half of everything will be yellow. Something a bit like this. And these guys are looking nice and colourful now. I was going to do these shoulder ribbons in a nice colourful colour as well at one point. But I've actually just ended up painting the same colour as the boots and the belt. Just to keep the model a bit more simple and readable. I think that works quite well. So that's all the base colours down. I'm going to give a lot of these bits we've just done a bit of earth shade. On the boots, that's worked really nicely, and I think on the belt it's probably going to be great as well. That's a bit too much. So it shades that in, adds all the shadows where we need it. Get it on this spear haft. That'll blend the two browns that I've used for this sort of fake wood effect together. It'll do the same job of adding shadow around the edge of these red parts. And it should bring out some of the details on this little golden bit I did on the front of the turban. Now that's one of the main parts where you can really tell the difference between this guy, who is the print, and this guy, where that is actually still recognisably a little lion face. Use a very light coat over here to lower light this feather, get all those little details out, but I don't want it anywhere too thick on there. Basically dabbing most of that back off. And I'm going to use it around the edges of the sheet. Oh yeah, these shoulder tags as well. But yeah, as I said, around the edge of the shield as well. Actually, probably around the edge of the tunic. Basically everything that's not metal, actually. There we go, so we've taken it from that to this. And now I've done a quick highlight with some of the original colours, but also with some brighter versions. I don't think that's the look I'm going for. These guys are going to make great little extras, random guards for scenarios. So I'm not going to spend an awful lot of time on their sort of details. I did change my mind about the earth shade on the feathers, regretted that, and went back in with the base and then just highlighted over that. But everywhere else I think it was worthwhile and looks quite cool. Oh, a bit more. So now I just need to paint the base rims.
Like the endless blackness of space.
And then I'm just going to add a couple of little tufts. Maybe a sweet little flower for the original. I'm going to call these guys done. There's definitely a lot crisper detail, and it was easier to get the details around the sort of little lion and around his face and stuff on the original. But if you're trying to block out a unit of these guys, say you picked some of these up and you wanted to finish them off, the print is adequate, I think. And on a tabletop, you will not be able to tell the difference. I will mention this is a limitation of 3D scanners rather than the printer. I'm sure the printer could knock out this detail easily enough. It's just the scanning technology has a little way to catch up yet. Just this guy alone, just for a random find in my bits box, sort of badly painted and unloved. I think I've definitely promoted him, and hopefully now he'll see action in some games as generic guard number 1 with his buddy generic guard number 2. And that's all for this video. Please let me know what you thought down in the comments. Maybe subscribe for more. And as ever, thanks for watching. Bye.